I should set that up before I click start. Hey, y'all. Leigh Brown here to answer the age-old question of, should you become a realtor? Now, as somebody who thoroughly enjoys my realtor life and living out there in the real estate world, I get a lot of questions from random people, and I think they're delightful, frankly. The most random people are just wonderful. And this was actually started not just by one question, but it happens all the time. And I'm pretty sure that all of my real estate friends out there, y'all get all these questions too, because frankly, some of y'all making this look way too easy. I mean, you dress up, you look cute, got your hair did, put your accessories on, drive around, and get paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But I am Leigh Brown from RE/MAX in Concord in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm here to give y'all the facts on things, because you need to know becoming a realtor is not a light-hearted decision. And frankly, I think some of y'all became realtors because everybody else was getting a license. Woo! Let's all go sign up at pre-licensing class and get it, because it's just so easy. And that's why you have all these people. I think in Las Vegas, everybody that drives an Uber has a real estate license, but that's just my personal experience. I don't ride in Lyft. Maybe the people that drive Lyft don't have licenses. No judgment. But it was pointed out to me that there's a lot of things that need to be answered. So, oh, Chris, I should have recorded it at R4, and RE/MAX should have recorded it too. Make sure you tell the leadership that and put me back on the main stage again. But anyway, so I want to answer some of the questions that have come in from my friends. And so if you have clients or nephews, nieces, daughters, grandchildren are thinking about becoming realtors, feel free to share this Facebook Live with them, because I'm going to tell y'all the Leigh Brown truth on things, okay? So if you don't agree with me, I don't care. Sorry, look, I got all choked up. First of all, being a realtor means you're going to drink coffee all day, every day, just to survive. And yes, Monica, the first test is this. If you cannot say realtor in 2 syllables, give me your license right now. Let me have it, because I'm so tired of people adding an extra syllable in there. And if you can't say realtor correctly, just don't get your license, okay? Just do me that favor there, because it makes my heart sad that y'all can't say your own profession right, those of y'all that already are realtors. All right, so my girl's first question was, what's it like to be in real estate today? Okay, so I probably should have had something in my cup besides coffee to talk about what it's like to be in real estate today. I received a gift from one of my favorite agents at RE/MAX in Asheville. It is nectarine and honey whiskey, but it's honey because my throat's messed up. So you have to know, being in real estate today is hard, okay? There's nothing easy about real estate. I'm going to say that about 14,000 times until you people finally listen to me. Real estate is not easy. Anybody who tells you that you can make $100,000 your first year, woo, and they got all these extra leads and just come in and it's going to be so wonderful, they are lying to you. They are lying to you. I mean, even out in California where houses cost $1 blue million, how do you think you're going to be the one that gets the one sale, okay? So it's not easy. Now, it's doable, okay? Some of y'all belong in real estate, but most of you don't, okay? I'm just going to have to tell you the truth on that. Most of you do not belong in real estate, but a couple of y'all do, so hang in there to find out if it's you. So what it's like to be in real estate, you're going to be broke most of the time, because realtors are terrible with money, which is funny because we're paid a lot of money to manage people's financial instrument, which is their real estate property, but realtors suck at money. And if you tell me I'm wrong, go on and show me the last time you balanced your checkbook. Y'all are good with people. You are not good with money. Think about this with real estate. When you're getting in, you need to have a lot of money saved up. Now, the rule of thumb that you'll get from most reasonable people out there is to have 6 months of living expenses saved up. I'm here to tell you that that is not enough. 6 months of real estate expenses or 6 months of living expenses, not enough money to get into real estate, because you're going to have to live, but you're also going to have to spend a whole heck ton of money to survive in real estate. They didn't tell y'all you're going to have to buy things like websites and yard signs and lock boxes, and you're going to have to pay for some board fees. Y'all, it costs you a couple $1,000s to join the board. And by the way, everybody who's serious about real estate should be a realtor, subscribing to the Code of Ethics, and your butt should be down at the association volunteering and being involved. That was a mistake I made my first 9 years I was not involved enough, which is probably why I overdo now. I'm trying to make up for lost time. The rest of y'all, get after it and understand that paying those dues as part of the association is a really big deal, but that's a couple grand. And then you don't know about the fact that you do not have an expense account. I know this is shocking to some of y'all. Because when you bought a house, your realtor drove you around town for months on end, showed you 483 houses, and you thought the company paid for their gas and the wear and tear on their vehicle. There is no expense account in real estate. That money that your realtor spent to keep tires on the car, to vacuum it out so that you would not know what a slob they are at home on the weekends. I mean, no judgment. I've got children too. But you've got money being spent on that car. You've got to live and pay for that vehicle and pay for all this stuff in real estate. So my friend Paula Brand in Mississippi, she gave a rule of thumb, which is 6 months to living expenses and $6,000 saved up. And I'd say that's probably reasonable in Mississippi. But if you live in an expensive market like New York or California, my suggestion is you should have a whole heck ton more money saved up than that. So what it's like to be in real estate, you're going to be broke. You better have some money saved up. And y'all, it's hard, okay? So I make the joke often that the most successful people in real estate are good at being bipolar. And I don't mean that as a slam on those that are diagnosed as being bipolar, but it's a bipolar feeling business. And I'm going to tell you that it is, because in the same afternoon, you are going to have somebody hugging you and loving you, and then 2 seconds later, you're getting screamed at and cussed at, and you don't even know how that happened. You don't know what went sideways and what went wrong. And so to be in real estate, you have to be able to really manage lots of emotions all at the same time, and they're all going to change on you overnight. It's like living with a 13-year-old that never, ever grows up. That's what it's like to be in real estate today. You don't know if it's going to be a happy day or a sad day, but you still got to go down the hall and open the door because somebody has got to go to school, and you don't know which one you're waking up. So if you like that kind of a roller coaster of life and you've enjoyed raising teenage girls, then maybe that's your first step. Now you want to get started. You're going to have to take pre-licensing classes. Now in every state they're different, but in every state, frankly, it's not enough education. But go take the class. It's most highly recommended by your favorite realtors. All right? There's a bunch of schools out there. The state's going to judge them based on how many people pass their classes. I'm going to tell y'all a secret. These real estate schools sometimes make more money on those of y'all that suck at school, because they're going to have you take that class 4 and 5 times. And how many times they going to get paid? 4 and 5 times, while you're shelling it out every single time. So call your favorite, most successful realtors and ask them what schools they recommend. Here in the Charlotte area, I recommend Superior School of Real Estate, which was started by Bill Gallagher, frankly probably the best real estate educator on the planet, who sold it to McKissick. So the jury's still out if McKissick's going to screw up Superior or not. I'm hoping they won't. Or the Mingle School down at the Charlotte Board. I took my licensing down at the Mingle Board over 20 years ago, which makes my hairdresser glad that he's got a good client to have to admit that was over 20 years ago. So I do not recommend online classes. If your state allows it, don't. Sometimes say no to the internets, okay? Real estate education, the time to say no to the internets. Get your butt in the seat in the classroom so you can raise your little hand and ask questions. Because that instructor up there may once have sold houses once upon a time and can answer some questions for you. If you're on the internets, you don't get to raise your hand in a reasonable way. So I know it's going to cost you a little bit of time to go get in the car and drive down there, but get in the car and drive to the class. Now, she asked too, how do you find a brokerage company? This, y'all, is a big, serious topic that I think needs to be addressed more often, because often our brokers are accused of being body shops. They'll take anybody that comes in the door that can fog a mirror and has a license. You throw them all to the wall and see who sticks. Woo! Kind of like bad spaghetti noodles. And bad spaghetti noodles stick to the wall, frankly. So I'm not really sure why we talk about throwing noodles to the wall. But regardless, selecting a broker, first of all, you need to know, why is that broker a broker? So ask them, what's their why in real estate? This was a great point that Lori Davis from Southern Pines, North Carolina, brought up at Inman this past year. She said, ask your broker why they're a broker. If they became a broker to make more money, you should scoot on out the door. Because if money is the first answer to anybody's questions, scoot. That is not a good fit for a good human. Now, frankly, if you're a money grub and bloodsucker, maybe that's where you belong, and fine. Okay, fine. You hang your license there, but if you're my kind of people, scoot. Your broker should be vested and interested in coaching and making you better at real estate, and in fact in raising the bar of professionalism overall, because your best brokers, they're involved at the board. They're investing in the Realtors Political Action Committee. You'll hear that's called RPAC. And so a broker who's unengaged at the board, unengaged in RPAC, don't mess with them either, because they're trying to build an island. And the last time I checked, being on an island is a bad place to be when a storm comes through, because storms going to happen in real estate. And so the good brokers will tell you why they're doing it. They're going to talk education. They're going to talk about volunteering. They're going to talk about board. They're going to talk about mentoring. They're going to talk about how you can be involved in being the betterment of the game, because I'm going to tell y'all a secret. When you get that license and you're selecting a broker, you don't know anything. You are not the be-all, end-all, and I know that you want people to suck up to you and pay you signing bonuses and things when you've never sold a house. But frankly, you are nothing yet, okay? So it's time for a little bit of humility in real estate, all right? When you get your license, you don't know squat. In fact, a new licensee needs to come in here and be told, forget all that stuff you learned down at the board. Let me teach you how it really is, okay? No, I'm not on Buffini's success tours because I'm a coach too, and I'm Buffini's female competition, although he's got that Irish brogue and he's got a giant system, and I'm just little old me. So you can see me at Richmond in October, though, but I got distracted. So listen, you're not ready for this. Your broker should hook you up with a mentor, and if that brokerage office doesn't have people that are willing to mentor, it's probably not a great place. Because everywhere I've been in real estate, I have met so many amazing realtors who love to share and give. They want to be connected to new realtors so they can make you better and help you learn. But you've got to be in the position where you're willing to be humble enough to realize you don't know anything, and you've got to make sure that you find mentors that are willing to guide you on that path. Y'all, it's a lost opportunity if you won't find a mentor. When I first got into real estate, my daddy would not let me touch a client for 90 days. I had to ride around in his hip pocket in his car, writing. Look, that's part of the reason I keep notes. I kept notes then, I keep notes now. I did not open my big mouth even if I thought I knew something. My job was to sit down and shut up and learn. Your job when you're a new realtor, sit down, shut up, and learn. And if you don't know, you ask later. You don't ask in front of the clients. Don't be stupid, okay? And by the way, when you finally do stumble up on a client, don't act like you know everything. You should say always, I don't know, but I know who does. That should be the first thing out of your mouth. I don't know, but I know who does. And go ask that kind of broker. So when you're selecting that brokerage firm, they should be available and communicative to you, knowing that you don't know everything, they don't know everything. They should also know who to go to next. So what if you want to work in more than one state? Well, now I'm licensed in North Carolina and South Carolina. Many of my realtor friends are licensed in multiple states because of where they live. My advice is this: if you're getting licensed as a new realtor, know one state first, okay? Get to know the paperwork, get to know the laws, the real estate commission guidelines, and then if you're going to jump the line and learn another state, don't just get a license because it's available by reciprocity. That does not make you an expert in that state. I can tell y'all this: South Carolina operates far differently than North Carolina, and just because I have a license in North Carolina and South Carolina gave me a reciprocal license several years ago, does not mean that I shouldn't know South Carolina's laws, guidelines, and paperwork too. So if you're going to get licensed in more than one state, would you please get busy learning how it's done correctly? In fact, get a mentor in more than one state. It's not that hard. Can you do residential and commercial? Where is Dina Zimmerman? She would like to hear me say this out loud. Dina's one of my commercial sisters, and I love her. We're famous for saying, pick a lane. Now, I get it. If you are Sarah Johnson out in Wyoming, you have to do what we call resi-mercial, because small rural markets, you'll kind of have to know both. But I'm in Charlotte and Concord, North Carolina. I do not know commercial, all right? When I bought my commercial building, I reached out to a commercial broker to help me because this is not my wheelhouse. If you're a residential broker, refer out your commercial stuff. If you're a commercial person, refer out your residential stuff. And if you're a new licensee, get to know that commercials got really long time frames, big paychecks at the end, but it takes a long time to get a deal to go through. Now, I personally think there's a lot of opportunity in commercial, especially for young women, because the commercial age range does skew older. It skews more male. It skews a little paler. So there's a lot of opportunity on that end, especially if you're communicative, because in my experience, commercial brokers don't return the phone calls as quickly as residential brokers. So opportunity there, but you better have a bigger bankroll to back you up while you're trying to get started in the commercial side. She also asks, what other jobs in the real estate world besides being an agent? Wonderful jobs that exist. In fact, my amazing partner, Virginia, already piped up in here. She started off as an agent. She was knocking the cover off the ball, but got worn completely slap out by the bipolar nature of dealing with clients and having to deal with it 24/7, because frankly, you can try to cut it off, but at a certain time, if you're by yourself, you can't cut it off. And so instead of losing her to the normal world, I kept her with me as my administrative partner in the office so she can work somewhat more normal hours and go home at 5 o'clock. And she'll check her emails because she's kind of OCD about that. And she'll check in on the weekends, but she's not working 24 hours a day. So you could be an assistant. You could be a marketing professional. I have a marketing pro who does a lot of stuff on the side for us. When we have pictures done of a listing, we had that done by a professional photographer. So by the way, if you're becoming a new realtor, I don't care if it's your first listing or your 1,000th, hire a photographer to take pictures of your listings. Your cell phone is not sufficient for engaging somebody's largest financial instrument and making somebody interested in it. I don't care if you think you're good or not. You need to hire it out to somebody who knows what they're doing. So I got distracted by that. But, you could be a photographer. So if you're really good at it, be a real estate photographer. Do drones and Matterports and all the things that our sellers expect of us now. You could also become an appraiser. We have a shortage of appraisers in North Carolina. I don't know about y'all states, but you should call and check into it. Now, the appraiser license and guidelines are different. They've got more apprentice hours required, but I'm going to tell you what, a lot of them are desperate for an apprentice, mentee. They need little people to come work for them to inherit their business in the future. So go. But you're going to have to do some grunt work, okay? You're not going to make 6 figures out of the gate. Roll your sleeves up and do some work. You're going to have to crawl up under a house. You're going to have to get lied to and cheated on, and you're going to be tore up while you're also broke. It's going to happen no matter what angle of real estate you're in, unless you're a salaried person in the administrative angle. Let's see, what training and books do I recommend? I recommend my own training. There's going to be some more coming here soon. That's going to be designed for the novice realtor and also for the experienced realtor. So if you want more information on my upcoming university, you can let me know. But in addition, I'm not a Keller Williams person, but Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, brilliant. You should all read that book because it's fantastic advice. You should look at anything you can find that was related to the Star Power days from Howard Brinton. So find you some old retiring realtor and buy all their cassette tapes. And if you're young, go buy a cassette tape player at No Appraisal Shortage Fake News. Bob, it is not. Check your state. There's a lot of states that need appraisers. And don't call me fake news because you're going to make my blood pressure go up. Go do you on Facebook Live. You're going to be nasty pants. And what's a day in the life of the agent? So my day, I get up early. I'm a 4 a.m. riser, so I can work out at 5. I'm odd in that. Most realtors neglect themselves in favor of their business. So from the beginning, set your life up to where you can protect yourself. Do your workout, do your devotions, take care of your kids and your spouse, get all that stuff cranked out. I start checking emails early. My first appointments of the day are at 7:30 because I'm an early person. My last appointment of the day finishes by supper time because I'm no good to anybody at 9 p.m. Now, maybe you're a night out and you're no good to anybody at 9 a.m. You do have the ability to set appointments that fit your life. The key here is making sure that you are telling people what their expectations should be. So if you're a new realtor, you don't have to work 24/7, but you have to tell people when you do and don't work. Tips for getting your, the day in the life of the agent. You have to excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. The day in the life of the agent is going to include a lot of telephone time. It does not include a bunch of technology time. Shouldn't. A lot of y'all think you can buy leads You can get on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and find people to buy and sell houses with you. I just had this conversation on my podcast. So if you want to get some more information on life in real estate, my podcast is Crazy Shit in Real Estate. And in my podcast, we were discussing today how many realtors get distracted by technology, especially new ones, because y'all are coming in the day of everything's online, and you're hearing about all these different things, and you have to go research blockchain. No. You don't need to get focused on blockchain. You need to focus on being likable. Because the crazy part about real estate is that still most buyers and sellers use the first realtor that they come in contact with who has half a brain about them. And frankly, they're not all competent. They're not all really good or experienced. Sometimes they just happen to be likable. So if you're likable, you should hone that and go talk to people. And do not send all these text messages. In fact, I had an interesting message from an older realtor who wanted me to make sure and point out that being part-time is very detrimental to your success in real estate. And I get it. Some of y'all are going to work part-time jobs to get started because it is a big money pit at first. But you better have a plan, because as a full-time realtor, it's aggravating as heck when I have a listing that's under contract with your buyer and you've got to call me back and say, I'll call you at a break because you're at work. No, you're going to have to be available during banker hours, because that's when the mortgage is getting processed and the attorney's working. So you've got to find a way to make that work. Now, when I got started, I was single and dead broke, so I waited tables at night, but I made sure and work around my waiting tables life, and I didn't do that very long because I got very busy in real estate because I was super focused. If you're focused and you work hard, you can do well in real estate. So here's what you have to be to survive in real estate, besides having some money set up. If you're going to work part-time, make sure there's a plan with the end on it. And I've had a lot of realtors tell me they would not have done as well as they had if they hadn't just given up all the other jobs and jumped in feet first, because sometimes you have to sink or swim. And by the way, there was another great point that was made by Mark, that these averages are wrong. So you're going to see information from the National Association that says the average realtor sells 6 houses a year. That's not true. I think it's somewhere around 65% of our membership did 0 to 1 transactions. All right? That means they're getting a really expensive hobby around here, and that's hard to survive on. In fact, the other funniest thing ever that was said today, Virginia made a good point. We were talking about teachers, and she said at least teachers get into their jobs knowing they're not going to make any money. And ain't that the truth? A lot of y'all got into real estate and thought that people were, you going to make a lot of money? No, there are a few people that are tonning it. They're doing very, very well. They work their patukas off for it. They educate the heck out of themselves for it. They are networking and talking and learning all day long. And then you've got a whole bunch of gnashing and whining and grinding of teeth over people who aren't making any money, but they thought they were going to make $100,000. So if we went into this more realistically and realized that the average realtor is actually below the poverty line for the median family in the U.S., they realize there's a whole different set of challenges. And so you've got to come into this knowing you can make it. You got to be optimistic, okay? Optimism is going to get you further than anything else in life. If you are a person who is gloom and doom and miserable and you think the markets are awful, then please don't get into real estate. I don't need any more negative, gloom and doom people in real estate. But if you are a pretty happy, generally upbeat person who's willing to learn, you might have a chance. And if you couple that with some persistence and getting the job done, you'll have an even better chance. I find a lot of realtors that don't have a lot of persistence. They get beat down too quickly. You can't get beat down quickly. You got to get beat down slowly over years like the rest of us. Ha, just kidding. Not really. So anyway, what you got to know is that you need to pick up the phone every day with the correct mindset. I didn't turn my camera around. So it says the mindset scorecard for those of y'all that can't read backwards. Your mindset needs to say, I'm going to get up and work today. So a lot of realtors want to be at home where they can relax in their yoga pants and have their flip-flops on and not fix their hair or put their lipstick on. You're not going to make it in real estate like that, because when you are not dressed and fixed, you will feel kind of dumpy, and then you'll sit on the couch and watch soap operas and feel sorry for yourself, and you won't sell anything, and then you'll get on Facebook and talk about how the markets are awful and there's nothing to sell. But if you get up, put yourself together, go make some phone calls, you'd be surprised at what's out there, because there's a lot of people that crave a professional realtor experience, somebody that will ask them good questions and who knows things and who can guide them and hold their hand, because it's a very emotional thing we deal with. Which means because it's an emotional thing that we deal with, you have to know how to keep your mouth shut. So those of y'all that like to gossip and be busybodies, It's fun because you're going to know everybody's business, but you can't tell everybody's business, okay? You can tell some certain pieces of the business in a way that helps others understand that they're not alone, but you have to know where the lines are. And if you don't know where the lines are, please don't get into real estate. Now, let's see. You also have to have, oh, yeah, that's right. Be able to not take everything personally. Look, y'all are on Facebook. You take everything personally. I got irritated by that guy earlier. Look, because we all do it. You want everybody to like you. Everybody's not going to like you. Everybody's not going to use you in real estate. And in fact, the biggest thing I can tell you new or thinking about being a realtor, for the first 2 years, your friends and family won't use you. It is a random cold somebody walking down the street who decides that you're worth using, and your friends and family are going, let's see if she makes it. And your feelings will be hurt. You're going to be devastated, and you are going to be feeling like they don't love you at all. They do love you, but they're watching you. Okay? After you make it 2 years, and by the way, that's approximately 15% of licensees. 85%, that's the estimated number. 85% give up within 2 years because it is so expensive and so hard to make it in real estate. Y'all, I'm not lying to you. It's a wonderful field. It is where I belong. I have my home in real estate. You might have your home in real estate too, but for some of y'all, don't do it. It's an expensive hobby that can drive you into the poorhouse, make you hate people, and really just destroy your love of your personal house. And so don't do that. But anyway, I told you not to take everything personally. You can't, because when those first 2 years, when your friends and family aren't using you, you're going to think it's a personal reflection, and it's not. Frankly, some of them already have relationships with realtors like me. And when they already have a relationship, they might not be ready for you yet. That doesn't mean you can't overtake their relationship with me in the future, but you got to know going in, you don't have the experience that perhaps their realtor relationship does. Just keep hustling. Keep picking up the phone. Keep that smile on your face. Keep putting your face on. Keep trying. Go, go, go. Let's see. Oh, I'll give you all the best advice my daddy ever gave me, which was that if you look at real estate as an opportunity to help people and you don't think about the money, excuse me, the money will find you. The money will find you. The money will find you. You hear me saying that? Quit looking for the money. There's a great living to be had in real estate if your goal is to do the best thing for other people. This cannot be about the money or you'll die. The last thing I want to tell y'all, look, I'm about to die from coughing here, but I love y'all so much I'm going to keep going. You got to know, too, when talking about your money, you're going to be a 1099, at least in the way we're set up right now. That makes you an independent contractor. That means you're going to be subject to a 15% self-employment tax unless your accountant gets you set up right from the beginning. And for some of y'all, you don't get set up right in the beginning because you don't have any cash flow. And so I want you to think, too, about the fact that you've got to pay quarterly taxes. My first year in the business, I sold a fair number of houses, and I did not pay the IRS what they wanted. So what you need to know going in is that the IRS going to have their money, especially the state. The state going to send you a request from the DOR, the Department of Revenue. Be prepared to pay it. I owed the IRS $60,000 my first year in real estate, and my daddy said, well, figure it out. Good on you. You had a good year. Because that's usually the response of the optimistic, positive realtors. If you owe the government a lot of money, you had a good year. Well, then I had to dig back up out of a hole. So try not to dig out of a hole. If you're getting into real estate and you have your little stockpile, make sure you're also thinking about the implications of every check that you get. Let's see if I answered all the questions that I was supposed to answer. Look, I appreciate y'all. Help somebody who's thinking about real estate. Think it through carefully, because I'll give y'all the positive impact. Those of y'all that have hung in here, real estate does give you an entrepreneurial opportunity that's like nothing else that exists on the world right now, on the globe, in the world. Look, I just don't even have my words right today. Because no other job allows you to select the people you're going to work for, to get to know them so well, to be part of their largest financial instrument. But y'all, the craziest thing is this. So many of you are threatened by outside forces, and you're worried about new people getting into real estate. You're worried about competition. You're watching this to see how you can keep people from getting in. I don't want to keep good people from getting in. I want more good people in real estate. I want the bad ones to get out. I want the lazy ones to get out. I want the uninvolved, unengaged, unethical to get out. Okay, so let's be clear about that. But the good, the hardworking, optimistic, persistent people who belong in real estate, bring them on. I'm not threatened by them because I know who I am and what I provide to my community and to my clients. Now, I want y'all to think too, you're going to hear about the unlimited income. It is unlimited, but you got to keep your expenses in check. That's going to be the coaching call I have with the client next week. How do we get her expenses in check? Because it's easy to spend in real estate. You're going to have the opportunity to have flexible hours. I'm fixing to go get my kids off the school bus and find out about their day at school. I have that opportunity, but y'all, I'm 18 years in. My first 2 years, I worked every chance I got because I had to establish credibility and establish cash flow. So you're going to find out that it's hard, but it's worth it, because my very first buyer client ever, they named their daughter after me. Tell me any other job in the world where you can have clients that become your friends to that kind of a level. It doesn't exist. I love real estate. It's given me friendships across the country, across the world, and frankly, that came from volunteering. It's given me access to my elected officials because I understand exactly how critical property rights are, and I love being engaged and involved. And if that's who you are, this might be your home. So if you need information about, I don't know what happened there, but anyway, but that's what realtors do. This is who realtors are. We love to share, we love to give, we love to make other people better. So now your job going into this weekend, take better care of the clients you have. If you're thinking about getting your license and you feel like you're going to totally overcome all the challenges I threw at you, then we need you to help make real estate better.